Just because you don't have a lawyer doesn't mean you can't benefit from the insight of one, which is why we're kicking off our new series, Legal 101, where we bring in experts to break down everything you need to know.
And you can learn a lot. Joining us now with what you need to know when it comes to restraining orders, please welcome criminal trial attorney and host of the Presumption podcast, my friend Sara Azari. Good to see you.
Good to be with you guys.
So what exactly is a restraining order?
So a restraining order is a court order that essentially mandates or prohibits certain conduct that is threatening to you, that is violative of you, that might be annoying, it might be harassing. So if you need protection, you need to get a restraining order.
So at what point would you file for a restraining order?
So look, it can be boyfriend stalking you. It can be your ex-husband blowing up your phone and you're like, dude, stop calling me, and he won't stop. It can be your neighbor who's blasting music loud at like all times of the day. I mean, it could be as little or big, but annoying, harassing, threatening, and physical violence. But I think one of the things your viewers need to know is that people think that, you know, you need to be beaten up to be able to get a restraining order, and that's just not true. The behavior usually escalates. It starts kind of as maybe just a little harassing, and then it can get really serious. So it's really important to get it early on and not wait.
So how confident can someone be, you know, with a restraining order? We've covered cases where you hear the victim died and they had a restraining order, but they were still killed as a result.
Look, there's no stopping cray-cray, right? I mean, people can still violate a restraining order. Some protection is still better than no protection. And if your restraining order is going to expire, so usually, depending on state law, these orders are good for 1 to 5 years, usually, you know, 3 to 5 years. But if it's going to expire and you still need the protection, you have to go back to court and get it extended. Behavior is unpredictable. If this person, despite the court order, comes back and harasses you and annoys you and threatens you, then that is enforceable and you can actually get them prosecuted on a felony crime.
So talk more about that, because if someone violates a restraining order, what are the steps that you should take? Because that piece of paper doesn't stop everyone.
Right, it doesn't. And so the first thing you do is when you get the restraining order, you lodge it with your local law enforcement. If you don't do that, it's no good, okay? And that is because if they do violate the order, you then call the police, just like you would report any other crime or any conduct, and then the police can then submit it to the district attorney's office to review for filing charges. But if you don't have that with the police, if it's not in the system, then you really don't have any protection, even though the judge signed off on it. So it's really important to lodge it and then report the behavior, and in most states, that is a felony crime to violate that order.
When do you know it's time to file a restraining order?
I think that if you feel like you have done everything you can, you have made a written request, you are annoying me, you are threatening me, I am afraid of you, please stop this behavior, and it doesn't stop, you go to the courthouse. And you know, in most courthouses, domestic violence restraining orders, they give you assistance to you know, file the forms and prepare the forms. So, you know, they're really, I mean, even though you need an attorney technically to present the best case, you still can do it on your own and go to the courthouse for help.
What happens when you have kids involved? We have kids together, but I have a restraining order against you, but you still want to see your kids.
Well, the court can then essentially modify the orders in a way where you could still have contact with the kids through a monitored sort of a visit or through a third party. They could also say that the contact needs to be peaceful, right? So it's not no contact whatsoever, but some peaceful contact just for the sake of the kids. Kids always come first.
All right, what a way to kick off this series.
Sara Azari, thank you so much.
Thank you,
guys.
friend.
And you can check out Sara's premier crime podcast, The Presumption, wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube.
It is good.